Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask an Assistant, the podcast for executive assistants and the people that love us. I'm your host, Jess Lindgren, and it has been so dang long since I have recorded the intro to this show that I had to re-record 3 or 4 times to get it right. Let's get to work. Esteemed colleagues, what can I say? I have the absolute hands down best community in the whole wide world. Thank you so much for all of your kind words, support, and patience while I've been out of the office. Pneumonia and bronchitis at the same time, immediately followed by laryngitis, is no picnic. 0 out of 10 stars. I cannot recommend this experience to anyone. I am finally feeling about, let's say, 92-ish% after a solid month of being sick, and so beyond ready to be back in the saddle of life, work, and everything in between. All that said, let's actually get to work. While I have been back roughly half time, I definitely had to ramp up from 2 hours a day to 4 or 5 hours a day. My entire focus has been on my executive's book tour. That means that I am working with a bunch of external people to get him scheduled for seemingly unlimited interviews. I mean, I know we've got limited time. We're working with a deadline. Book launch is June 3rd. It's coming up. And I've been working on this book tour, rather, off and on since December of 2024. Efforts have definitely ramped up in recent weeks. A number of these have been with podcast hosts directly or other media outlets, but a handful have been through third parties. If you're feeling fancy, you can refer back to Ask an Assistant episodes 61 and 64 about my favorite scheduling tools and scheduling the right amount of time with anyone, respectively, to get the other pieces of my scheduling picture. Today, however, we are specifically going to talk about scheduling with third parties. I do need to start this discussion with the disclaimer that I am not pointing fingers. I am not naming names. This is an issue that I have encountered frequently over the 12 years that I have been working with my exec. We do a ton of scheduling, like both for guests on his shows and for him as guests on other shows. Working with middle people who facilitate communication has been, as many things are in the course of any career, full of ups and downs over the years. Like, some are an absolute delight to work with, while others are like herding cats. This episode is a little bit more of a rant that I hope my fellow executive assistants can relate to. However, if you happen to work in PR or an agency or whatever, please take some of these ideas to the powers that be and implement some change. Because, my goodness, if you are the middle person between the interviewer and interviewee, agent, publicist, I don't even know what other job titles are, please, for the love of all that you hold dear and for the love of my mental well-being, I really need you to be one of 3 things. I need you to be on top of answering emails. I need you to be sharing a scheduling link, or failing that, I need you to be putting me directly in touch with the person who holds the keys to the calendar. And when I say I need you to be on top of answering your emails, what I mean is it is maddening to have someone facilitating communication between parties who desperately want to be on your show or desperately want to have you on their show and then just not get back to you for days or weeks at a time. Like, we are working across multiple time zones. That's the host of the show or media outlet, the person who's being interviewed, and the person who's facilitating communication. Like, that just fractally branches out and creates the multiple of it all. Like, we're working across multiple time zones, multiple inboxes, multiple busy schedules. This is super time sensitive work, and if you are the person who's facilitating, you need to be prioritizing responses when scheduling is happening. My executive's calendar can, will, and does change on a dime. And I know that the other person, the other people's schedules can, will, and do too. And when I say the other person, I do mean both the other media outlet and the facilitator. Like, if you're the middle person, please be on top of the facilitation. If you don't love firing off quick replies to emails, like, who does? I know I sure don't, but I do it anyway. I need you to be sharing a scheduling link. Referring back to episode 61 of my podcast, Ask an Assistant, the one that you're listening to right now, my favorite scheduling tool is my brain. But that's because, one, there is way too much nuance in my executive schedule, even during a major project like a book launch. And two, when I'm not sick or otherwise out of office, I am on top of replying to emails. My executive handled things beautifully while I was at my worst, but when I was finally well enough to be back in the office, albeit part time, scheduling was a top priority. Our time is super limited. We have a deadline. The book launches on June 3rd. At the time of recording, it is May 12th. And like, we're all of us, including and especially the middle person, we are all scheduling with multiple people, meaning that all of our calendars are constantly in flux. Please do not be the middle person who looks at the scheduling link and guesses what time we might have available. Just give us the link. Like, it is so simple for me to just pop in and schedule a time based on our actual availability, and cuts down on emails back and forth. And bonus points, the majority of scheduling links translate between time zones, which massively cuts down on errors when you're sharing availability. I will talk about living between time zones and speaking fluent time zones in detail in a future episode. But like, I know how easy it is to, if you travel a bunch, you might have been in Pacific time yesterday, but you live in Eastern, or you might have been halfway around the world and super jet lagged. Like, just share the scheduling link, let the internet based scheduling thing work its magic, and save everybody so much hassle, heartache, and headache. Lastly, if you cannot be on top of replying emails, you can't be sharing a scheduling link. I am guilty of not sharing a scheduling link myself. I get it. If you can't do those two things, I need you to be putting me directly in touch with the person who holds the keys to the calendar. At my company, I am the person who holds the keys to the calendar. And I know that there is someone in a very similar role at every company. It might be a dedicated scheduler. If you've got a big enough support team for an executive, it might be an executive assistant who's kind of the catch-all, the keeper of the calendar, the driver of the schedule, the prioritizer. It might be the executive themselves if it's just a one-person show. You never know. Someone holds the keys, someone makes the decisions, and someone is doing that prioritization. If I'm working with a third party, it adds work to both ends, both for me as the person who is scheduling the interviewee, and for the host or interviewers or whatever media outlets team. As the facilitator, you need to be the most responsive, easy to work with person in the entire process. Be the movement inside the watch. Don't be a tree branch in the spokes of my bicycle tire. All right. Like, getting that off my chest feels super great. Like I said up top, I have worked with some truly spectacular PR people in my day, some truly wonderful agency people, motivated, responsive, absolute joy to find in my inbox any day of the week. I've also worked with some folks who don't answer emails or their phones. They neglect to pay attention to time zones and refuse to offer availability within our working hours. I am at my absolute happiest rather, when I get put in touch with the person who holds the keys to the calendar. I absolutely adore a PR person who recognizes the value of everyone's time and skips straight to putting the decision makers in touch. That's what I've got for you today. Now that I've been talking about my executive's book launch, again, this is a big project that we've been working on. The writing piece has been over a year in the making. The publicity piece has been about 6 months in the making. I remember at the end of last year just starting to float the topic around October and my executive being like, whatever, that's a future me problem. And I'm just like, no, the future will be here sooner than you think. And I also like to be the easiest person in the room to work with. When I have a favor to ask of a podcast host, a newspaper, a TV show, what have you, I want to make my ask early. It frustrates me to no end when I get PR people, authors, other podcast hosts in our inbox on Monday saying, "Hey, my book is launching on Friday. Want to have me on your show today? And you can definitely release an episode before Friday." No, we cannot. I want to be the person who asks in November and December when editorial calendars are being finalized, or if not finalized, at least thought about. Like, I want to be the person who has all of my assets together and ready to rock. Um, it's been a long project in the works, like I said, over a year, year and a half in the making at this point. And if you happen to be interested in a copy of said book, you can do one of two things. Thing one, you can visit leanlearningbook.com to see ordering options and the bonuses that we have on offer. And thing two, you're a loyal, dedicated listener to this podcast. You are here down to the very end, to the sign off. Maybe you love to hear me say take care. Maybe you love the outro music. I don't know. But to thank you for being here all the way to the very end, email me, askanassistant@gmail.com. I would love to send you a copy. I personally have 10 copies at my discretion to give away, and would really love to share them with you. The first 10 United States-based folks will receive a hardcover copy. If you happen to be one of the first 10 who emails and you are outside of the US, I can offer you a digital copy. Shipping books is unfortunately shockingly expensive these days. This has been the absolute busiest year of the working relationship between me and my executive. We've been working together over a decade, and it's incredible to see all of these things come together seemingly all at once. It's been 15 years of hard work for my exec, 12 for me working with him, and I really can't wait to share the fruits of this labor with you. So again, askanassistant@gmail.com if you'd like a hardcover copy. Cannot wait to get it into your hands. And until next week, as always, take care.